In 3, 2. Hold on, I have to burp. Welcome back. It's the Brew&A. Dan, do you have your brew?
I do. You want to hear it being opened?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Hold on, I screwed it up. Oh, Ty, come on.
Ooh.
I have a Bell's Oberon here. Shout out to
good
the fine
beer.
state of Michigan, pure Michigan, an American wheat ale. I love Bell's Oberon. I'm not a big beer guy, but it's smooth, it's tasty, it's fresh, it's great in the summer because I think they're summer beer, right?
Yeah.
Love it.
I like it. I'm a fan. I didn't know that we were going to be pouring. It's the Brew&A, not the Pour&A, but I've got...
yeah. It's video, Ty. It's action. We need action on here.
Well, that's true. I've got a Goose Island IPA. So, paying further homage to the Great Midwest with this Goose Island IPA. I was in the beer store.
Oh, that's so good. Once it hits your lips, Ty. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I was in the beer store I don't know, a week ago, and just looking around. People are kind of walking around gingerly with their masks and trying to socially distance in a really close, confined beer store.
Yeah.
And I just kind of looked around and I'm like, I'm not going to make this more complicated than it needs to be. So,
hurry up.
Goose
huddle.
IPA. Let's do it.
All right.
Goose IPA it is. So, cheers. Happy Friday.
Hey, you too. Oh yeah. Delicious.
So, what do we got today? What kind of questions are we?
You know what?
Let's here on the Brew&A.
Let's start with the beer theme here, Ty. Our friend and the official brewer of the Solid Verbal, because nobody else has reached out that is a brewer, a brewmaster, Bo Hicks of Druid City Brewing, the official Tuscaloosa brewery of the Solid Verbal. How about that? Plug right off the bat. Is there a chance, he's a huge Tide fan, is there a chance that in a normal season, with the tools around him, Mac Jones will have a transformative Joe Burrow-like year, or does the conservative playing when there's a lead hurt him? Does he get drafted? He's obviously a homer, but wondered what we thought. Shout out Bo Hicks. Ty, what do you think?
First off,
Mac Jones, can he do it?
First off, Bo Hicks, the bizarro Jerry quarterback of the Auburn Tigers.
Didn't think about that. Yeah.
But no, Bo's been listening for a long time. Thanks for the question, Bo. I like Mac Jones. I don't know if we've seen enough of those flashes to expect that he's going to have that breakout Joe Burrow type season. Keep in mind that offense last year at LSU really just threw it all out there. Gave it to Joe Burrow. As Joe Burrow goes, so does our season. And it just so happens he had a historic campaign. I don't see Nick Saban relying that heavily on any one offense, on any one piece of his offense, excuse me.
Right.
So I think for that reason alone, I'm inclined to say no. I think that Mac Jones is fine for that offense. Will he get drafted? I think, did he have a question in there about, will he get drafted? I think he'll get drafted. I have no reason to believe otherwise, but a Joe Burrow-like season, that the offense is different, the player is different, it's totally different circumstances.
I've got a really simple, quick two-prong answer to his two-prong question. Does he have a Joe Burrow-like resurgence or emergence? No, because that's unfair to put on him. Joe Burrow was crazy successful, one of the absolute, if not the best college quarterback of all time, considering it's 2019. So
right.
I'm going to pump those brakes. But have you seen some of the quarterbacks who get drafted? If the bar is just getting drafted, yeah, absolutely. I think he's the most efficient quarterback in the country through 2 weeks. He's got great receivers. He will be able to show off his skills in a way that very few quarterbacks are unable to. So if anything, he'll be overdrafted just because people are going to see the best of him if he continues playing like this. Yes, he is going to be drafted. Sometimes people are upset the rich get richer. I like good football. Mac Jones is playing good football.
He's playing good football.
I'm great with it. Yeah.
And you know what? To your point, it's never really made sense to me how there's only ever about 8 or 9 good quarterbacks in the NFL at any point in time.
Yeah. Mac Jones
Everybody stinks. They all stink. So can Mac Jones get drafted? Can he make a roster? Yeah, he can. Absolutely.
Can he make $27 million as a career backup?
Yeah,
sure.
Probably. He probably could.
If he's cool to people, if Mac Jones is a good dude, and we're talking baseline, if he is a good dude to people, you can look, the McCowns seem nice. They seem chill. They keep getting paid. Sure.
Just be like baseline. a long-standing holder, and you earn the league minimum, you earn a
Yeah.
pretty good salary, and
Watch him turn into Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. And
Aaron
we're talking about earning money as a backup. Let's stay with quarterbacks. Jake wants to know, there are now 3 NFL starting quarterbacks who went to Texas A&M. 2 transferred after playing a year, so it'd be Kyle and Kyler, and the other spent most of his time at receiver, Ryan Tannehill. Is awful quarterback evaluation and development the main reason A&M keeps underperforming? A weird sort of flip where Texas was unable to find a quarterback. Now it's A&M unable to develop. What do you think?
That's another unfair question. It's certainly a component of where A&M's been at, but it wasn't until I think they got Jimbo in there that they had some real stability at head coach.
But they were recruiting quarterbacks so well under Kevin Sumlin.
They were, but that's a quirky system. It's a quirky system. It's always been, and it's not the kind of team setup that you've got a defense to really support you. Someone's never coached a defense. Virtually never. He's had playmakers on defense, but that's just not been his thing.
2012?
You can find a defense, but I'm saying over the long haul, it's not.
There was that one Mark Snyder year. That the what's it called year? I think they won the Fiesta. What year did they win the Cotton Bowl over Oklahoma? That was an interesting defense.
Right, no doubt.
Yeah, and they've had pieces like you mentioned. Miles Garrett.
You could find a good defense throughout his career for sure. They've definitely had really high level pieces that have gone on to great things in the NFL. I don't mean to imply otherwise, but when you think of someone, you're not exactly thinking defense. And so there have been.
What does that do with quarterback though?
Well, if the question here is quarterback the reason why A&M hasn't ascended to greater heights in the SEC or in college football,
it's more. Is it the evaluation development the main reason A&M keeps underperforming?
No, it's not the main reason. It's one of many reasons. It's one of many reasons. I think general instability has been a big one, not just a quarterback, but with systems, with just a whole lot of things changing. It also doesn't help that they're in the SEC West. The bar tends to be a little bit higher for success just based on the teams that you've got to play. I think they are getting there with their recruiting. I mean, the recruiting's always been strong, but it's been more consistent under Jimbo Fisher. They've done a really good job building depth. They're probably not all that far away from feeling like they're actually gaining a lot of momentum. But right now, there's still enough inconsistency on offense that it's, I understand the frustration right now.
I didn't love the coordinator hire after Cliff, Noel Mazzone, swing past McGee. Didn't love that. And then I think a part of it is just managing. You're still managing a locker room, and part of that is managing a quarterback room of having both Kyle Allen and Kyler Murray in that room. When you take that level of quarterback in successive years, it rarely works out. It rarely works out that like both dudes are just like cool with the setup. They both expect to play right away. They both expect to be the dude, and they both are going to get pissed off. And so the way that situation was managed, sure, the development wasn't necessarily there. The evaluation seemed to have been there. Kyle Allen's fine. He was not the best quarterback in the country, but Kyler Murray was. So managing that situation, ultimately you are tying yourself to how well you can evaluate, develop, and manage your quarterback situation. And I think that's the third verb missing here. That ultimately led to a huge issue there.
Yeah, I mean, it's been an issue. I don't know. It feels unfair to put it all in that one position.
Yeah, and maybe Haynes King is that dude. Maybe Haynes King, the next guy, maybe he's that dude. I have no reason to think otherwise. Very good name. He's a dual threat guy. Looking forward to see what he has. Next question?
Next question. Where are we going?
We're going to, let's stay with football here. You want to talk Purdue receivers? David Bell, Ronald Moore, great combo. Dan Klobuchar, longtime friend. I am excited for that combination for what it's worth.
Rondale Moore and David Bell. His question is there a duo you are more excited to see debut in 2020 than Rondale Moore and David Bell?
I guess they're technically debuting as a full season together because David Bell emerged when Rondale Moore got hurt last year. So
yeah, I hate these questions because there's like 1,000 answers.
I mean, UCF has a couple good ones, but in terms of debuting together, it's an underrated Big Ten exciting thing. Yes,
agreed.
What Purdue can do, yeah.
I was disproportionately excited for Daz Newsome and De'Ami Brown.
Okay, there's still
UNC.
time.
And there's still time. I think De'Ami Brown or one of them, Daz Newsome, I'm getting them mixed up, has only 3 catches thus far. But I would expect at the end of the year that both are going to have a pretty good season.
Okay.
All things considered. So that was one. Now, neither one of those guys is Rondale Moore. Rondale Moore opted out. He opted back in. Rondale Moore is about as fun as you're going to find in college football. So I'm not comparing, but gosh, off the top of my head, just trying to think of other duos that jumped out to me. That's probably the first one that I know I spent
Braden
a lot of time
Lindsay, somebody else.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Next.
That was mean. I didn't have to be mean. Jeff wants to know, will Auburn ever be able to achieve consistent success as long as Malzahn has his hands on the offense? This is a fascinating question that I feel like could be asked every season and then retracted mid-year, then maybe reoffered later in the year, then retracted once again. Is there something to Gus Malzahn and relinquishing that's holding back the Auburn offense, or is there something more to it? Because we saw low points with Jarrett Stidham. We saw some low points with Nick Marshall, but not many. He was pretty amazing. We've seen low points with evaluation and guys not working out at all. And now Bo Nix showed some promise, but was inconsistent and missed some open throws and is uneven, I would say, at this point. So
sure. Yeah.
Is it a Gus problem? Is there something just very challenging about winning in the SEC West consistently?
Well, there's no doubt something challenging about the SEC West. That goes without saying. The Malzahn answer is really hard because it's kind of like every other year. You know, just when you think it's getting bad, then all of a sudden it gets good, and vice versa. So from a fan standpoint, that's got to be uber frustrating to have to constantly wonder, are we getting good Malzahn, good Auburn, or bad? I don't have an answer to this question. I like Gus Malzahn. I still have a lot of faith in him. And maybe it's nostalgia from what he did as offensive coordinator with Cam Newton. I don't know. I have a lot of faith that he knows how to coach offense, and they're just sort of waiting for that breakthrough.
It does seem like, though, there's that element of like, oh, Rhett Lashley, who he knows Gus, so this is going to be a great marriage. Oh, Kenny Dillingham, coming over from Memphis. This is it's new energy. He's a young dude. Now it's Chad Morris. Can he do what he did at Clemson and bring his own flavor? Right. And maybe he's a contemporary of Gus Malzahn that he'll respect more and offer more leeway to. I think it's just going to be Gus's offense with input. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the real question here around Auburn is if they didn't play high-level defense, what kind of team would they be? Because after watching this offense through a few weeks, at least this season, I'm not talking about other years that we've seen, but at least this season, it's been fairly underwhelming on offense. There are pieces that we like. You could find a couple of moments each game that you like out of Bo Nix and Tank Bigsby, and you can go down the line. They're very talented, but without that defense to kind of keep them above water, I really question how far the offense would take them. So there's an uneven quality to it. I understand the frustration. I honestly don't know the answer. When I think we have Auburn figured out, I realize I don't.
So he's been there since 2013. He's had enormous levels of success, both as a coordinator before then and as a head coach. Takes them to the national championship game, in year 2? So I get it. I guess, no, it's a year 1, whatever it is. Right away, he's in the national championship game. It's a revelation of an offense. To have a track record of an amazing performance over a course of a year, over the course of your career, with long stretches of success, and then have to confront that you might not know fully what you're doing with that anymore, I think is impossible. I think what we see is what we're getting out of Gus Malzahn.
Yeah.
It's the way I see
there is something to us knowing what he is at this point.
Yeah.
It's not a second year coach. He's been there a while. And
it's good.
We have a sample size.
It's good, but their rival in state is all time, and it's tough to measure yourself against anything else. And they just beat him. So how can Gus Malzahn just say to himself, what my gut says is not right? Beat Alabama.
Yeah, I don't know.
You go pretty far. You end up in an SEC championship game. You win the SEC. Like, how can you look at yourself and say, I don't know if I have it? I don't know.
No.
I think this is what we're seeing. We're gonna ride the Gus wave as long as Auburn's willing to themselves. All
right.
You ready for another question?
Let's do it.
B. Fitz, is Notre Dame a quarterback away from contending for a title? And here I'm adding my edit. Who is a quarterback away from contending for a title?
The answer before Kyle Trask was probably Florida.
Okay. They've got a dude.
They've got a dude this year.
Okay.
The Notre
Who is a
Dame
quarterback? I'll load up the rankings, and do you want me to just give you a team as you talk about Notre Dame?
You can do that, sure.
Okay.
Quarterback is the one position, at least on offense, that Notre Dame has really struggled to fill. And they have not had much consistency there. We've probably said it 1,000 times on the show that Ian Book is the first 3-year starting quarterback in the tenure of Brian Kelly, and he's been there a while. So to have that kind of turnover, between the Reese years and the Everett Golson years, and we had the Deshaun Kaiser, Malik Zaire thing, and like Brandon Wimbush, like it goes on. And say what you want about Book, but he's at least consistent enough that you kind of know what you're going to get week in and week out. And it feels like that quarterback position is really just the last remaining thing. Like they got finally to a place where they're consistent enough that you know what your expectations are at quarterback. They need to recruit better at that position. They need to figure out a way to develop the positional talent that they have at quarterback. They've done a good job with Book, who was a backup for a while. They've done a good job developing him and bringing him along, but there's certainly a ceiling there. So the next frontier for me for sure is definitely let's figure out a way to get better at quarterback. Yeah.
My answer is yes.
Yeah.
My answer is just yes. Quarterback and receiver to me. Is Georgia quarterback away, or do they have that guy?
Georgia a quarterback away. I'm just not all in on Stetson Bennett yet.
Damn. It's going to take more.
I'm not all in on Stetson Bennett yet. He's been very good thus far. Very good. No doubt. But I don't know.
I think they're a quarterback away.
Yeah,
I'm being definitive here, Ty. They're a quarterback away.
They're a quarterback away. I don't think that quarterback is Stetson Bennett. And I still have a lot of faith in JT Daniels that if and when we see him, he will take and run with that job.
I think Miami is more than a quarterback away, but I like the talent they have there. Penn State, are they a quarterback away, or do they have other issues that also prevent them from winning a title?
They not only need a quarterback, they need more consistency along their offensive line.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oregon?
You tell me.
They're quarterback away.
Quarterback away?
They're quarterback away, yes. I thought they could have been interesting last year. I didn't love the scheme, but with Joe Moorhead, if we're getting Penn State Joe Moorhead, which I'm always ambivalent about looking backwards and saying, okay, if we can get that specific version of that coach, I'm right. Ambivalent. But yes, Oregon with their defense, even with what they lose on defense, with the Pac-12 being what it is, they're at least a quarterback away from the playoff. Could it be Tyler Shuck? It could be, but they are definitely a quarterback away, which is why I assume they are kicking the tires on Anthony Brown. That's why I assume. I don't know if he's the dude, but Auburn is a better quarterback than Bo Nix, taking this team to a playoff.
Yeah, playoff. It's so hard with the SEC West, but I'll say yes. Sure.
I say no. Yes. I don't love that line. I don't love the changes they have on defense. Just the number of new faces at key places.
Yeah,
I think they're more than a quarterback. Okay. Wisconsin.
Ooh, that's a very good question.
A quarterback, and I'll give you a name. I'll give you a specific name because we don't know anything about Graham Mertz and live action against Big Ten teams in big moments. So maybe he's that guy. If Wisconsin replaced Graham Mertz or Jack Cohn with Sam Howell, with, I was going to say Hendon Hooker, but I'd like to see more. We don't have that much data on Hendon Hooker. With Sam Ehlinger.
Right. With
Keaton Slovis. Okay, if Keaton Slovis, in a system that's pretty quarterback friendly in terms of he'll see a lot of play action and can go downfield sometimes, but get rid of the ball quickly is accurate. If Keaton Slovis is the quarterback at Wisconsin, do they become noticeably more dangerous to Ohio State?
I think so.
I think so too.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
No doubt about it. Michigan, it could be Joe Milton. Is Michigan a quarterback away from beating an Ohio State team who has mopped the floor with the Michigan defense?
I think they're more than just a quarterback away. Yeah. They lose a lot this year.
Yeah. I think they might be. I think it's hard because the defense has not shown up against the Buckeyes. It's something that is hard to get past. But I think if they have a transformational dude at quarterback, because, that it can cover for a lot of mistakes. So I think I can be talked into Michigan being a quarterback away. They might also be a halftime defensive adjustment and a quarterback away from getting over the hump. That's my full list of teams. Otherwise, I don't think there's really a lot of, is Tennessee a quarterback away? I think there's more. I think there's defensive depth and defensive pieces away at the same time. I think is Texas a quarterback away? No, Texas has had time and they've had issues elsewhere.
They're a running game and a defense away.
Yeah. Just that though, Ty? Just that?
No, not just that, but most notably those two things.
We can move away from strict college football, but still college football adjacent things. John wants to know, do you have a favorite college football fan base? And that's a vague question that I think we should come up with qualifiers for. Like, do we have to have interacted in person with fans a lot? Is this all online? There's no such thing as a monolithic fan base because there's way different factions that believe different things, right? In terms of how seriously they take things and how aggressive they are. Do you have a favorite fan base for a college football team? Two come to mind for me.
Please.
And this has probably more to do with the people I've interacted with in person at their games and just out and about and whatever. I've enjoyed all of my experiences with LSU fans. Granted, I'm an Oregon fan. I'm not there every year. I'm not rooting for a rival. There is something about LSU fans, both the tie-in with food and they're not too braggy. There's not too much swagger because they have a team that has traditionally put them in their place. So I'm not going to say there's a humility to LSU fans, but they understand the real world of college football, that excellence does not happen every year.
Right.
LSU games have been very fun every time I've gone. And then the other fan base that I've enjoyed in person and to a certain extent online, where I feel like there's I don't know what the right term is here, but they don't take things crazy seriously. They haven't been too aggressive to me. Maybe to rivals they have been. I've enjoyed my time around Wisconsin fans.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see that.
They're a good time, and they have high expectations for their team, but they are also somewhat in reality with what to expect.
I've enjoyed my interactions with Nebraska fans. Very friendly in person.
Can be sensitive.
Can be sensitive, but who doesn't? Who's not sensitive?
That's true.
I've enjoyed my interaction with Nebraska fans.
Any other fan base?
Yeah, I mean, I had a great time at Georgia when I went to Georgia. Georgia has a great fan base.
Yeah, it's a little golfy for me.
Well, I could see that.
It's a little golfy for me.
Yeah, I enjoyed my time
as
at Georgia.
As a whole, I will say, not specifics. Yeah.
Where are we going next?
Let's go to... so this is related to the Red River Shootout. Reagan wants to know, since I can't eat deep-fried Texas State Fair food during the Red River Shootout this year, shout out Coney dogs, which I think are still being served at the State Fair, what do you recommend as an equivalent for my home game watching? Also hook 'em horns from Reagan. Is there... I know we both eat on the healthier side, but we appreciate just absolute garbage. Something fried that Reagan can do at home that isn't too messy, maybe, that isn't too dangerous. Like, have you fried up wings at home?
I fried up. I have.
Okay. You've deep fried wings?
I don't know if I deep fried them, but I fried them in a pan.
Okay. That counts.
Yeah.
I mean, in oil. That's frying.
Yeah.
That's cooking. And man, I would make some frickles. I love frickles. Do you like frickles? Are you a frickle fan?
Not especially.
Really?
I don't think. Nah.
Dipping in like a remoulade, like a spicy aioli type thing.
Could take it or leave it.
I love Frickles.
To be honest with you. What else could you eat if you can't deep fry?
Well, I'm just saying something fried. Just give me something fried, because that's the Texas State Fair. They're frying everything. So something you can make in a pan with some butter or oil.
I'm partial to a lot of the Eastern Pennsylvania, PA Dutch things, like pierogies. You ever have pierogies?
Are those fried?
They can be fried, yeah. Fry them in a pan.
Okay.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
You ever have, they call it, I think, baked, but it's fried. The St. Louis baked ravioli, the crispy ravioli, whatever they call it, but it's like fried
I don't think
up.
I have, no.
So good. It's so good. I mean, you're frying up dough and cheese. What's not to like? Dip it in
What's not to
marinara.
like?
Oh man, I would go with the fried ravioli. I would go with Frickles. And I would not fry the spears, I would fry the chips. If you can imagine what I'm saying, right? You see what I'm saying?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I see what you're saying.
Chips over spears for Frickles. That's my recommendation. All these people want to know about David Bell and Rondale Moore.
Crazy.
Jason wants to know. We're wrapping up here.
Final question.
Maybe not. I have a very strange final question, but Jason wants to know, since I know it's his dream, can we please have Ty give us a national weather forecast for each weekend left of college football? Willing to pay for this as a Patreon perk? Since you guys are doing video these days, I'd like the green screen map as well. Whoa!
I was going to say, do I need the green screen if I'm going to do this?
I think we can just have you with a Sharpie and a printed out map, and you can circle. I already have a name for this segment, but you can answer the question first. Ty pressure front? No? Yes?
That's what you're calling it? Pressure front?
Ty pressure front, like high pressure front?
So it's not bad. It's not bad.
Okay, this is my absolute favorite meteorology phrase is gale force winds.
Okay.
And maybe we call it gale force winds, WINS. Because it's football.
I mean, there's an obvious typhoon tie-in.
Oh,
maybe
that's
true.
true.
So obvious.
Oh, that's pretty good. The typhoon, we just have to add a hyphen of some kind, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm down for this. I took meteorology classes in college. I don't remember a lick of it, but I'm very fascinated by weather Twitter. So
you love Cantori. I know this about you. Do you not?
Love is too strong a word. I appreciate that he has such passion for the subject of weather and or thunder snow.
Sorry, I was resetting my camera.
No, okay.
I like Cantori. Yeah, Typhoon I think is the move. Typhoon is the move. My final question. I don't know how to answer this question, which is why I want to answer it. John wants to know, F, marry, kill. You're familiar with this. I would not have normally stooped to this cliched question, Ty. But he said F, marry, kill. So you select one of these you would like to marry in lovely wedded bliss, one of these you'd like to murder and do away with from this earth, and one of these that you'd like to bring passion to, Ty.
Okay.
Ribs, brisket, pulled pork.
I'll put brisket in the F category.
Okay, so that's the violent passion that you have is for brisket.
Yeah, we'll put pulled pork in the marry category. Mm-hmm. And I would kill ribs forever. I'm not a ribs fan.
Really?
Not a ribs fan.
I would have put you as a ribs fan.
Not a ribs fan at all. Hate them.
You don't like those bones? Spare ribs, St. Louis, Memphis.
No, not into it. Not into it.
Okay, I gave this 11 minutes of thought.
Of course you did.
I would definitely marry brisket because of its versatility, because this is the long haul, Ty. And what you could do with brisket, with Asian flavors, with Mexican flavors, with obviously barbecue flavors. You have your traditional Jewish brisket. I think the brisket is the one that's versatile enough. You could grind it up and make burgers. You can take brisket to really varied places. The lust I have is probably for ribs.
Wow.
There's just something about the mouthfeel of ribs that makes me lust more than I do for pulled pork, which I like, but there is not a plainness, but it's sort of, there's not many notes, I think, to pulled pork. Okay. Ribs, it's in your hands, Ty. The juices are running down your face. You're feeling the strong bones, Ty.
Settle.
I think my passion is with ribs. My marriage is with brisket, and I'm doing away with pulled pork. Apologies to everybody in the Carolinas. I gave this a lot of thought, though, because
I'm sure you did.
The grind down factor of brisket and making burgers out of it or tacos, whatever, is interesting to me. That is something I could buy a vacation home in Cape Cod with brisket, Ty. I would bring brisket home to meet the family.
All right.
That's all I have.
This has been fun. Raise your glass, whatever you got in front of you, Dan.
Yeah.
Showing off our beautiful Solid Verbal pint
I can't believe
glasses.
you don't like ribs.
Not a rib guy. I've never been into it.
Man.
Can't get into it. It's not for me.
What about like a short rib? Another.
No, I don't. I don't like ribs.
Oh man. All this time. You think you know something?
Don't at me. I don't like ribs. I'm not into it.
Patreon launches next Wednesday, October 14th. You're going to want to pay attention to what we are going to be talking about.
Yeah, I'm excited about this. Well, cool. Look, everybody out there, have a good weekend. And enjoy the games that are in front of us. We will be back on Sunday to recap all the action. If you're unfamiliar with the show, www.solidverbal.com. That's where you can find all of the listen links everywhere possible to subscribe. If you're watching us now on YouTube, this is me reaching out to the camera. Just, hit that subscribe button. Tickle the like.
Boop.
Tickle that bell so you get alerted to every new episode that we post. We will be with you all season long.
Yeah.
Excited to be here.
Yeah. I'm sorry I shifted my camera a little bit, but you know what? It happens during the Brew&A. That's the risk we're willing to take. All right. That's all I have. Ty.
That's all I got.
Be wonderful.
Enjoy your weekend.